Beatles wrote so many songs that some never made it onto their own albums. Many ended up in the hands of other artists, and several of those covers became bigger hits than the originals. These are 10 Beatles songs that made other artists famous. Number 10. With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker. The Woodstock performance became legend. August 1969, Joe Cocker took the stage and delivered what many consider one of the festival's most electrifying moments. His convulsing movements, his raw, soul-drenched voice, his complete physical surrender to the music. The original Beatles version featured Ringo Starr singing a gentle, whimsical track about friendship. Cocker reimagined it as a desperate plea, transforming something sweet into something primal. His studio recording had already reached #1 in the UK in November 1968, but Woodstock changed everything. The performance aired in the 1970 documentary, exposing Cocker to millions of American viewers. It launched his international career and became his signature song. For an entire generation, Joe Cocker's version is the definitive recording. The Beatles gave him a song. He made it immortal. Number 9. A World Without Love by Peter and Gordon.
When she does, I know, so baby, until then, lock me away.
Before the British invasion, two schoolmates from Westminster School sang folk songs in London. Then Paul McCartney started dating the sister of one of them. McCartney had a half-finished song that John Lennon had dismissed after laughing at the opening line. He handed it to his girlfriend's brother. The track shot to #1 in both America and the UK within months of release. The duo became instant international stars, riding the British invasion wave alongside the very band that supplied their hit. They scored several more chart entries over the next 3 years, including songs McCartney wrote under the pseudonym Bernard Webb. A song the Beatles rejected became the foundation of an entire career. Peter Asher later became a Grammy-winning producer, working with James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt.
Woman, do you love me? Woman, if you need.
Number 8. I Want to Be Your Man by the Rolling Stones.
I wanna be your lover, baby. I wanna be your man.
The meeting happened in September 1963. Andrew Loog Oldham, the Stones' manager, spotted John Lennon and Paul McCartney getting out of a cab on Charing Cross Road. Oldham mentioned his band needed a single. The Beatles happened to have an unfinished song. Lennon and McCartney walked into the studio and finished writing the track right in front of the Rolling Stones. They completed the remaining sections while Mick Jagger and Keith Richards watched in amazement. The song reached #12 in the UK, becoming one of the Stones' earliest hits. It established them as a legitimate chart act during the most competitive era in British pop history. Two future rivals, forever linked by a London sidewalk encounter. The Beatles handed their competition a stepping stone to stardom.
And I said that you can't always get what you want, honey.
Number 7. Obla Di Obla Da by Marmalade. In late 1968, the White Album arrived without any official singles. In the UK, the Beatles had stopped releasing British singles from their albums, leaving several radio-friendly tracks unclaimed. Scottish band Marmalade saw an opportunity and moved fast. They rushed into the studio and released their cover of the catchy album track. Their version hit #1 in the UK on New Year's Day 1969, claiming the coveted top spot. For many British listeners who never bought the White Album, Marmalade's upbeat recording became the song's definitive version. The track gave them their only chart-topping hit, a bittersweet achievement earned through perfect timing. The Beatles themselves had no plans to release it as a single. Marmalade's gamble paid off spectacularly.
It was as plain as the nose on my face that I was heading nowhere.
Number 6. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by Elton John. A #1 hit in America, 7 years after the original. Elton John's 1974 cover took the psychedelic classic and transformed it into a reggae-influenced pop spectacle. The recording featured a very special guest, John Lennon himself, credited pseudonymously as Dr. Winston O'Boogie. Lennon played guitar and sang backing vocals on the track, helping turn his own song into someone else's hit. The collaboration was recorded at Caribou Ranch Studio in Colorado during Lennon's infamous Lost Weekend period. Elton's version emphasized the song's melodic beauty rather than its hallucinatory imagery. It reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in January 1975, giving Elton another chart topper while reconnecting Lennon to mainstream American radio. A Beatle literally helped another artist claim his song as their own. Before we continue, which Beatles song do you think should have been a hit for the band themselves? Were any of these covers part of your teenage years? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from today.
Rocket Man, burning out his fuse off heroin.
Number 5. Bad to Me by Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas.
Birds in the sky won't be sad and lonely 'cause they know that I've got my...
Brian Epstein managed more than just the Beatles. His stable of Liverpool acts needed material, and Lennon McCartney became his in-house songwriting factory. Billy J. Kramer received some of their finest work. The song went straight to #1 in the UK in August 1963. The Beatles never recorded it themselves, leaving only a Lennon demo buried in their archives. Kramer became one of the British Invasion's reliable hitmakers, scoring multiple top 10 entries with Lennon-McCartney compositions, including Do You Want to Know a Secret? The arrangement worked perfectly for everyone involved. Epstein kept his roster stocked with hits, the songwriters collected royalties, and Kramer built a career on music the Fab Four considered surplus, a mutually beneficial system built on extraordinary abundance.
Oh, I would be glad just to have a love like that.
Number 4. Got to Get You Into My Life by Earth, Wind & Fire.
God gets into my life. God gets into my life.
The 1978 Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band film became a legendary disaster. Critics savaged it, audiences avoided it, and the Bee Gees-led project quickly faded from memory. But the soundtrack produced one genuine triumph. Earth, Wind & Fire took Paul McCartney's Motown-inspired album track from Revolver and made it their own. Their version reached #9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and #1 on the R&B chart. It won a Grammy for Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocalist. McCartney had written it as a tribute to marijuana, but Earth, Wind & Fire turned it into a celebration of pure joy. The funk arrangement felt natural, as if the song had always belonged to them. Something beautiful emerged from cinematic wreckage. Number 3. It's For You by Cilla Black. At 21 years old, she was already Liverpool's sweetheart. Cilla Black grew up in the same working-class neighborhood as the Beatles, and Paul McCartney personally championed her talent. He didn't just write songs for her, he showed up to the recording sessions. McCartney played piano on It's For You, recorded in July 1964. The song reached #7 in the UK, adding to her remarkable early success. Her debut single Love of the Loved had been a Lennon-McCartney composition too. But the Beatles connection gave her something beyond chart success. It gave her credibility during the most competitive era in British pop. Cilla became a beloved television personality, hosting programs for decades. The Liverpool girl who knew the right people parlayed those friendships into a 50-year career. Number 2. Come Together by Aerosmith.
Together right now over me.
In 1978, America's biggest rock band entered a Beatles tribute film. The Sgt. Pepper movie needed star power, and Aerosmith delivered one of its few memorable moments. Their version of Come Together stripped away the original's murky psychedelia and replaced it with pure Boston swagger. Steven Tyler's vocal performance turned John Lennon's cryptic lyrics into a hard rock anthem. The single reached #23 on the Billboard Hot 100, modest by Aerosmith standards, but enduring in impact. Classic rock radio adopted the cover immediately, playing it alongside the original for decades afterward. The track demonstrated how Beatles songs could thrive in a completely different genre context. It proved the compositions themselves transcended any single interpretation. For countless younger listeners discovering rock music in the late 70s, Aerosmith's version arrived first. Number 1. Goodbye by Mary Hopkin. Before Apple Records signed her, Mary Hopkin was an 18-year-old Welsh singer appearing on the television talent show Opportunity Knocks. Model Twiggy saw her performance and called Paul McCartney. Within months, she became Apple's first major signing. McCartney produced her debut single Those Were the Days, which reached #1 in the UK. Then he wrote Goodbye specifically for her, a gentle ballad about leaving someone behind. Released in March 1969, it climbed to #2 in Britain and reached the top 20 in America. The song showcased McCartney's gift for crafting tender, memorable melodies, and it established Hopkin as Apple's most successful, non-Beatles signing. She represented everything the Beatles wanted their label to achieve. They discovered talent, nurtured it, and shared their gifts freely. A Welsh teenager became an international star because a Beatle believed in her voice.
Please be patient.